Hello everybody and welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and I'm so excited to be here with you for another week of live step-by-step crafting. Now, I hope you all had an amazing weekend. I spent it doing a lot of moving stuff, so if you aren't too familiar, at the end of next month, my husband and I will be moving from Tucson, Arizona, all the way to Newport, Rhode Island. I'm getting down to the wire for the movers to come. They come June 10th. So just a few weeks and we will have the movers here moving all of our stuff. I'm not ready for that at all. Oh, let me just do that. There we go. All right. So let me just make sure that I'm live here on Facebook. If you're watching, make sure to comment, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where everybody's joining me from each week. I'm also live over on YouTube. Let me just make sure that that's going as well. So I see I'm live on Facebook. Hello, Carol. Thanks for watching. Yep, I'm live over on YouTube as well. So just say hi. It's always fun to interact with everybody and get to know them a little bit better and see where everybody's watching from. Now, today I'm going to be featuring 3 projects from the Attention Shoppers Bundle from the new 2024-2025 annual catalog. This is one of our smaller bundles that we offer. So in the new catalog, we have various price points on bundles. So you have your traditional bigger bundles, which are about $50, but then we also have some smaller bundled items like this stamp set with dies that are in the mid-30s. So something for everybody's budget range for that. So yes, Carol, moving is so hard. And we haven't moved for 7 years. So just being able to make sure we have everything ready. I'm sure we're going to forget something that gets packed and then we'll have to go buy a second one. It always happens, but this past weekend, you can see, yep, right on that side, my card spinner is completely empty. So I donated all of my cards to an organization called Treasures for Teachers in Tucson. This organization collects art supplies and different various crafting items for teachers to be able to use here in Tucson for them to come shop their closet. I donated 1,240 cards to their organization, and I'm so happy that I was able to provide them with those cards and basically almost all the cards I've made over the past 7 years. I make them, but I'm terrible at sending them. So if you ever got a card from me, you should feel very special because I am absolutely terrible at sending cards. I just make them. All right, well, let's go ahead and swap the camera. First, I want to say thank you, everybody. This is my last Makers Monday here in Tucson. So like I said, the movers come in about 2 weeks-ish, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. So I've got plenty of stuff that I have to be doing to get organized for that. So last Makers Monday here in Tucson, I will definitely be having a different background, but Makers Monday will definitely be back, so don't worry. I'm not going anywhere except moving across country. All right, let's go ahead and swap the camera and we will get started with our projects. Now, yesterday on my website and here on Facebook, I shared this project here featuring that Attention Shoppers Bundle. This also features the brand new Country Woods Designer Series paper. Beautiful Designer Series paper. I really like it for the rustic look and the bright colors. It's not just your traditional like wood color, but it will be fun to show you guys how you can use this Designer Series paper in a variety of ways. So this is the card that I showed yesterday, and I just want to show the bundle here. So here is the stamp set. It is photopolymer, so completely see-through and clear, so you can see exactly where you're stamping. It has, I think I said it, 12 stamps, and then these are the dies to go along with it. So you have the dies to cut out all of the images. No dies for the sentiments, but that's okay. You can easily swap them out for any other kind of dies. Now I paired this with one of my new favorite die sets. Oh gosh, now I'm not going to even remember the name of it. Let me look. These are the Spotlight on Nature dies. So you get 2 sheets of dies, and let me bring them a little closer so you can see what they look like. So they are the same, these are the same sizes, but different designs. So you have this kind of like hash mark on one of them, but the same size die, then you can have this floral image around the outside. These are going to be my new go-to dies. I really like the circles. They're great for a variety of sentiments and images. So that is what I use, and I actually use it on all 3 of the cards that I'm going to show here today as well. Now, before we jump into our 3 projects, I forgot, we've got just a couple quick announcements. The first one, my May Moving Madness sale ends tomorrow. All the details on what this sale entails. Basically, you spend $25 on the Stampin' Up! Website. I have a listing of all the items that I have available, die sets, die bundles, punch bundles, and stamp sets on my website, where you can then shop from there for free. So this ends tomorrow, but the best thing is if you order tomorrow is Stampin' Up's free shipping day. So orders of $75 prior to shipping and tax, well, it'd be free shipping, but prior to tax, you get free shipping. So if you place that $75 order to get free shipping, you would get to choose 3 items from my May Moving Madness sale. So all you have to do is use the host code that's on the screen, so I know that you'll want to partake in this sale so that you can shop whatever I have online. So just wanted to put that out there. Tomorrow is free shipping day. It's just 1 day only on orders of $75 or more. And then the last thing before we jump in is I almost forgot Prize Patrol. So if you aren't too familiar with what Prize Patrol is, each week I do something called Prize Patrol. All you have to do is share this video and comment that you shared, and you'll be entered into Prize Patrol. So last week, it was a twofer for Prize Patrol, the Heartfelt Hellos stamp set, and a package of the Faceted Gems Trio Pack. So the winner of last week's Prize Patrol is Roxanne Sir. So congratulations, Roxanne. Thank you for sharing my video. All she had to do was share the video and comment that she shared, and she was entered into Prize Patrol. Now, last week we had a twofer. This week we have a 3fer for Prize Patrol. And we're going back to black. So we have a package of matte black dots, a roll of this is the black glittered organdy ribbon. So you can see some really fun glitter there. And one of my favorites, a black Stampin' Write marker. Has a brush end and a writing tip side. So you can use this in projects for coloring or writing, but this is our Prize Patrol for this week. All you have to do is share the video, comment that you shared, and you're entered into Prize Patrol. All right, let's move on to our projects now. I didn't want to forget those things. Okay, so I showed this project last week, and then we have 3 projects that we're going to be creating here today. So here is this first one featuring 2 of those really fun dies, the Country Woods Designer Series paper, and I'll show you how easy it is to do that diagonal there. We have another piece, Country Woods. Now, this piece that I cut, you can see down right at the bottom, there is Petal Pink in the Designer Series paper. So that's where I pulled my inspiration from. But Petal Pink for this one. And then this last card, and I'm going to try to put it up here so you can see. The shopping cart is silver foil paper. Hopefully, oh, there you can see the shine of the silver foil paper. So our kit this week, you can place that order if you take part in free shipping day tomorrow and you place that order, you'll get the kit for this week. This is what it looks like. And if you do take part in free shipping, you get a embellishment of the week. This is the Petal Pink and Basic White bordered ribbon. I really like this ribbon. I did a really fun technique with this white one. I'm just waiting for it to dry. It's been drying for 2 days. It's still not dry yet. So I'm hoping by the end of today, I've even used my heat gun. I live in Arizona where it's warm right now. I put it outside to try to get it to dry a little faster. It's still not dry. I'm surprised. Normally stuff dries very, very quickly here, but we will see how long it takes for that to dry. All right, let's go ahead and start our project. So we're gonna work on this card here first with our silver foil paper. Don't forget, each week on my website, stampinblondie.com, I have the project PDF tutorial, has all the details on item numbers, prices, and dimensions for the 3 projects that we're creating today. So you can print that out and follow along with me. So here is our kit. Now all the circles I've already pre-die cut just to save us a little bit of time here today. But we have a piece of basic white cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we're gonna use our bone folder here to crisp up that line. And I saw a comment up here, where was it? Sarah Wanamaker. It says, bummer, but we will be East Coast friends. Now, Sarah, where are you on the East Coast? Hopefully not too far. I'd like to have some crafting friends up there. So we have this Country Woods Designer Series paper. The back side's kind of not as dark as I wanted it to be. So we're gonna use the front, and I'm gonna use my Stampin' Seal adhesive for this. And let's get that out of the way. There we go. Corinne, I'm glad you liked the card. These were really fun to make. I had a lot of fun making these projects. Okay, a piece of Lost Lagoon cardstock. We're gonna do some tone-on-tone stamping. So I need my Lost Lagoon ink pad. I'm gonna bring in my grid paper. And I need the little, we're gonna use the stamp that is the flower pot. So we're gonna use that. You are in Pennsylvania. Fine, we're gonna go, I think we're gonna go through Pennsylvania on our way there. I don't know the trip we're having to, like, we wanna bypass like New York and New Jersey just because, you know, we're gonna be hauling a trailer and we don't wanna deal with too much traffic. So I'm not exactly sure the route we're taking, but that's a future problem. We've already got it all mapped out and everything, but that's too far away for me to think of right now. So we've got our tone-on-tone stamping. So this will kind of soften up a little bit as it starts to dry, but we're gonna add this to our card base. Let's see, I got this all ready to go right before I started. There we go. And this is just gonna kind of go not directly across the middle, but kind of towards the top a little bit. So like I said, I've pre-die cut that piece of basic white cardstock from the Spotlight on Nature dies. And we are gonna first die cut our silver foil paper. So grab my mini machine here. So all these dies fit in the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which is great because now I don't have to haul out the big guns. And we're gonna use the top of the shopping cart. So the shopping cart comes in 2 pieces. You have the top and then the bottom, so you can mix and match your colors. But we're gonna run this through with our silver foil paper and just cut that out. The best thing is that this shopping cart, because it has that kind of like big grid part on it, the pieces are really easy to just pop right out. So there's our cart piece. And then all that can just go in the garbage. There we go. Okay, now we are going to stamp the bottom of the shopping cart. And I'm gonna use Memento black ink, Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And we're gonna have our shopping cart, and then our sentiment also says, treat yourself. So that's gonna go in the bottom right of our, just directly onto the designer series paper. I was trying to figure out if this needed like a sentiment piece, but once I stamped it on there, I really liked that it was just directly right onto the designer series paper. Okay, our cart, ink that up really, really good, and that's gonna go towards the bottom of our circle here. And then we have these 2 bottles of champagne. So I just have a scratch piece of white paper, and we're gonna stamp 2 of those on here. And then we're gonna color them in with Stampin' Blends. Now I chose Lost Lagoon and Crumb Cake for the colors of these bottles. I didn't want anything to take away from the background, and I wanted that pop of color from our ribbon there. So we've got Lost Lagoon and Crumb Cake. So, and we're not gonna do any kind of darks and lights, shadowing, or anything on here. It's such a small area. So I'm just gonna use my, that's the dark. We're gonna use the light Lost Lagoon to color in the bottle portion here on the top and bottom. I locked all of my dogs outside of my craft room right now, and I can hear them outside, at least one of them, and I know exactly which one it is. She's out there wanting to come in. But I said, no, not today. Okay, and our light Crumb Cake, we're just gonna color in the wrapper around the bottle, not that middle oval piece, but just the wrap, and then the cork. Well, it's kind of a twisty top, but we'll call it a cork. Okay, we are gonna die cut these. So there are dies to match this. So we're just gonna line up our die, take our piece of washi tape, put that into place. Now, normally I would probably like fussy cut these out, but because it is such a small die, it really is a quick, easy setup for this one. Sometimes it's faster to fussy cut, sometimes it's faster to die cut, but by the time I cut all of this out by hand, I could easily do it with the machine. So we have our first bottle, and then here is our second. With our washi tape, you want to use that washi tape because you've already stamped and colored in your image. You want to hold down that die into place so it doesn't shift and shimmy while you run it through the machine. So there we go. We have our 2 bottles and our cart. So we're gonna assemble this all now. So what I did is I took the back of the silver foil paper first, and I kind of want my bottles to be, let's move the ribbon out of the way. So they are at the bottom of the cart, just like you would put something in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my bottles and we're gonna glue them down first, and then we're gonna put the cart on top of it. So because we have our 2 pieces of the bottom of the cart, you can see where it will line up. So we're just gonna add our first bottle here. Let me just move that a little higher. And then our second, kind of right next to it there. Now this is really thin, so there's a couple of different ways to adhere this. So you could use our Stampin' Up! Adhesive sheets, so when you run it through the die cut machine, it's already sticky on the back. But I just wanted to show how easy it is to use liquid glue too. You just have to have a very gentle hand. You don't want to add too much glue because it can ooze out the sides. And I'm just putting little teeny tiny droplets on there, and then our cart. Now we want to make sure this stays down, so we're just going to take our clear block and put that on top. Now Emily said, how do you get them to cut so easily? I struggle getting it to cut sometimes. Is there a trick? Are you talking about running it through the machine? It doesn't always go through. So if you are, what I do for my mini machine, my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the bigger one, is a little different. The mini machine, I have found that plate 3, the gray plate, it says it's for embossing folders, but for my machine, the gray plate works best for the thickness. Now I have another friend who is a demonstrator. Her machine takes the white plate, which is for the dies. So you just kind of have to mess with it a little bit. I know with the white plate, sometimes you have to offset. You can see like my top plate is a little farther out so it can catch in the machine. But I have found ever since using the gray plate that I don't have to stagger my plates very much. So try the gray plate. Just make sure you have gray plate, clear plate, cardstock, and clear plate on top. Somebody cut into my gray plate. But this is just a different way. Try out the gray plate sometimes. That helps it cut a little bit better. And maybe your machine, it's just the stiffness of the different machines work different ways. So try that out. And it may help you get it to cut a little bit better. Okay, we have our silver shopping cart there. Now on the back, we're gonna add some dimensionals, and that will get popped up here and put right over top. And we're gonna come in with our Petal Pink ribbon. I chose Petal Pink because it coordinates with the card colors. I wanted a different pop of color. I didn't want it to be gray. I wanted to pop from the card, but Petal Pink works really good with Lost Lagoon and Crumb Cake. So we are gonna use this one. So let's tie that into a bow. Here we go. And I have found that using glue dots works really well for this ribbon. I'm just gonna trim the edges here. My paper snips are still packed away from an event I went to this weekend, so got the big scissors out. Okay, we're gonna use our glue dots, and that's gonna go right here in the corner. And there is our first project today, featuring the Attention Shoppers bundle. I really like that pop of color there. It's really fun. And then the Lost Lagoon paired with this Country Woods Designer Series paper is really pretty. So I hope you guys like this project. This is my favorite one this week, so I wanted to start out with that one here today. All right, our second card we're gonna work on is this one here. So you can see it's a basic gray, and that Country Woods Designer Series paper, Pretty Peacock, and Lost Lagoon. I'm really on a Lost Lagoon kick lately. I like the color. It's a really good color that works with a lot of different occasions and sentiments. So that's a fun one to work with. All right, let's see. Basic gray cardstock. Sorry, I feel a sneeze coming on. There. Okay, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we're just gonna use our bone folder here to crisp up our line. And we're gonna set that off to the side. Now I have another piece of basic gray cardstock, 4 by 5 1/4. And then a piece of Country Woods Designer Series paper. This is just bigger than my cardstock. So I don't have a specific size for this. It's just bigger than that piece of cardstock. So what we're gonna do is, I have my old paper trimmer available here. So my new one, again, packed up from an event that I went to. Oh, thank you, Courtney and Dawn. Now, like, after you sneeze, your nose gets a little runny. So I'm there now. Okay, we are going to get our cardstock out here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, where's my pencil? I just had it and I put it away right before, I guess a pen will work too. Here's my pencil. Okay, so we're gonna take our pencil, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold this up, and we have our piece of cardstock here. Let's get this out of the way until we need it right away. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip it over. I want my diagonal to kind of go about, that far down maybe. Let's see, probably a little farther down than that. So we're gonna start here, and we'll cut their paper so it'll be like down here. So we're just gonna kind of go right there. I'm gonna take a ruler and we're gonna go from that corner to where I marked my cards or my designer series paper, and then just draw a line. Okay, so we've got our line there. I'm gonna take, now this is all, I'm just kind of all eyeballing this. It's all freehand. There's no specific thing that I'm doing, but you can kind of see my cut is gonna start here, and then it'll end about here on the designer series paper. So we're gonna take our paper trimmer. So all I did is I started my line there and I drew where I wanted. I'm gonna line up that pencil mark in my trimmer. So your paper is gonna be diagonal, and then you have your top cut right there. Get that into view so you can see. Next, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna glue my piece of cardstock to my paper. So you will have that overhang, but we're gonna glue this on here, and then we're gonna trim it off on the back side. So this is how I found the best way for me to do it. If you have a better way to create diagonal pieces, I just have shown that for me this works the best, so I wanted to pass that along. So now we have that larger piece of designer series paper, and we can just trim it to be flush with our cardstock. So this is why you have to have that extra piece of cardstock the same color as your card, because then it just kind of blends in to the background of the card base. And now we can glue this down. There we go. And then it just looks like you kind of have a free floating piece of designer series paper on your card there. So just a different way. It's not just square, it's a different way to use your designer series paper. And then you have this little piece that you could, you know, put on a different card. You could put it like down here and some sentiment, and then you could reuse that scrap paper as well. Okay, like I mentioned, pre-die cut already from those Spotlight on Nature dies, Pretty Peacock Lost Lagoon. So let's stamp our sentiment on here first, just for you. And this is gonna be in our Tuxedo Black ink, right here. And then we also have, well, I should have, yep, right here, a spare piece of basic white cardstock, and we're gonna stamp 2 of the shopping bags from the stamp set on here. So just 1 and 2. Now we can close that up. I'm gonna trim this down because we're gonna die cut a little bit. There we go. Normally I try to limit the amount of die cutting on Makers Monday just because it takes a little bit of time, but this one definitely needed some die cutting. Okay, for the bags, we're gonna use the Pretty Peacock and Lost Lagoon Stampin' Blends to tie in our cardstock here. I'm gonna use the light Lost Lagoon for the tissue paper, and these are very easy to color in here. I liked this bundle so much that this was my May's Club Craft and Create. So tomorrow during my last class here in Tucson, Club Craft and Create participants are going to be making cards with this bundle as well. So we've got our 2 bags, Lost Lagoon. There we go. Now the bottom bag, we are going to color in with light Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to use the brush tip because it's a little larger area, so we can color that in with this. There we go. And I'm not doing any shadowing on these with like the light and the dark blends. If you want to, you can, but I just felt like the one color was fine. There we go. And now to die cut. So we're gonna take our washi tape again and our dies. Now these definitely would have taken me longer to fussy cut because the top of the bag with the tissue paper would have taken a little bit longer. So these will be quick to die cut. So let's put that on there. I think my washi tape may be dying. I may have to grab a new piece, but we'll try to get this to work. I try to use my washi tape as many times as I can. Cindy, good evening from beautiful Washington. Where is your next duty station, or is it retirement time? Not retirement time just yet. So my husband is active duty Air Force. We're currently in Tucson, Arizona, and have been for the past 7 years. He got chosen to attend a Navy schooling in Rhode Island. So we will be moving to Rhode Island. There's not an Air Force base there. And some people may be saying, well, he's in the Air Force, why is he going to a Navy school? And it is kind of a big deal to be chosen to attend school in person in the first place. And then to go to a cross branch school is an even bigger accomplishment. So yeah, it's only 11 months, but should be fun to go see different part of the country. Now it's kind of hard to see on the computer, whatever, the camera, but I added some Wink of Stella glitter brush to the 2 gift bags just to give them a little hint of sparkle on there. I didn't want to add anything else. I just felt like this little bit of sparkle really brought out the color of the pretty peacock. Now, if you aren't too familiar with Wink of Stella glitter brush, you can build upon it. So more and more glitter that you want, you can add more and more, and it will be more glittery as you go on. Okay, we're gonna add our 2 gift bags to our pretty peacock die cut here, and it's gonna go on with Stampin' Dimensionals. So just 1 dimensional, and they're gonna kind of be like crossed like this a little bit, overlapping, and then just like that. Congratulations to him. What happens after the 11 months? Does that mean another move? Yes. So we will be moving again after 11 months. So June of next year we'll be moving again. We don't know at this time to where. We'll probably find out in like January, February. That's how we found out this year that we were moving. So January, February of next year time frame is when we'll find out, and it can literally be anywhere in the world. So the good thing is though, because it's only 11 months, a lot of our stuff will stay packed. I don't have to unpack a lot of things. Of course, my craft room will have to be unpacked, but everything else can really just, like a lot of decorations and all that stuff. I don't have to decorate a house. I'm only gonna stay in for 11 months. I'm fine with that. So I am excited to see. I've never lived that far north before. We visited where we're gonna be moving to on a cruise in 2022. So we were there for a day, but it's very pretty. Somebody said, yeah, Cindy, you'll get to see some lovely color changes. I'm very excited about that, to see the leaves change different colors and everything else, but very excited. I miss the water. There's no water here in Arizona, so. But there's our second card here today for our Makers Monday, featuring the Attention Shoppers Bundle. I hope you guys like this project just as much as the first one as well. Will I work there too? So I left my job here in Tucson a month ago because of the move. And no, I am not going to be working there just because 11 months, even with the government, I worked for the government prior, and your job doesn't move with you. I have to apply and start every time we move somewhere. So I left my job here, and then nobody's gonna hire me for 11 months in the government for my job. So I will just be a stay-at-home doggy mom, and I'll still do Stampin' Up, of course. And be able to do Facebook Lives and classes and everything. So I'll still get to continue that aspect, which I'm really looking forward to. Okay, our last card here today, the Petal Pink card with that really fun rustic Country Woods Designer Series paper. And we're gonna do a fun technique with this. Kind of hard to see, but in the background here, let's get a little closer. I did some fun splattering, so you can see it over here. We're gonna use the Dark Crumb Cake Stampin' Blends to do this. Now this is a 4 1/4 by 11, so it's an easel card. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my Dark Crumb Cake Stampin' Blends and the brush tip side, and you really wanna do this gently because if you do it too hard, you're gonna mess up your marker. So just lightly flick the inside of the cap along your project, and it gets this fun splatter effect. Now I tried this with Petal Pink Stampin' Blends, and it was way too light. So I moved on to Crumb Cake, and then you get this really faint splatter, and it doesn't take away from the rest of the card. It's just a really beautiful and simple technique that anybody can do. Okay, again, die cut circle from the Spotlight on Nature's Dies, basic white. This time we're gonna take the flower stamp. So it is the bouquet of flowers here. And we're gonna take Petal Pink ink, and we're gonna do some stamp off to get this fun, we're gonna create our own patterned background. So we're gonna ink up, stamp off, and then stamp onto our paper. I want to stamp off because I don't want it to be super dark. I don't want it to take away from the rest of the card. So we're just gonna stamp off and then create our own pattern on here. So stamp, and once more, just right down there. So then you have, it's just not so stark white, and you have a little bit of pattern on there. And that was, I think I said it, but Petal Pink ink. All right, I have, where'd that little tiny strip go? Here it is. A little strip of Petal Pink cardstock and the sentiment of Happy Birthday Tuxedo Black ink. So we have, stamp it right in the middle there. This is a great use of scraps. I had this little tiny piece and I was like, what can I do? So this little piece is perfect for that. Yes, a great time to have a break and rejuvenate. I am looking forward to it. So if you didn't know, I had a full-time job with the Air Force, and Stampin' Up is a full-time job for me. So 2 full-time jobs, it was a lot, but now I'll only have 1, and I'll be able to do classes still, and I'll still be doing Makers Monday and still be doing everything just online. So I'm excited about that. We're gonna glue on our circle here. Cindy says, my husband was in the Marine Corps, so we moved some. My brother was Navy chaplain for 20+ years, multiple duty station in schools. Yep, we've been all over the world. I wouldn't mind going back to Europe. I loved Europe. We actually tried to go to Europe this time, but somebody else got it because he got the school, which I'm okay with. I mean, if that person has never been to Europe before, I'm excited for them. And then how often, he doesn't get to get picked up for the school very often. It's like once in a lifetime thing. So I'm very excited to go there. Okay, and happy birthday. Just gonna go there. Now, somebody asked me the other day, how come if you're only going for 11 months, how come you aren't staying here and your husband just goes? Well, we've done a year apart before. He went to Korea for a year without me. And if we had the opportunity to go together, I would go together. We've done the year apart. It was not fun. So even though it's not as far as Korea, still, I would want to go. I wouldn't want to stay behind. As much as I'd love to stay in Tucson. I have friends here. I had a job here. But it's time to go. All right, so I tied that white ribbon into a bow. And here is our last project today, featuring the Attention Shoppers bundle. So I showed you 3 different ways how to use the bundle. Just stamps on this one. We had some coloring and die cutting on this one with just the gift bags, and then the full shopping cart here with the silver foil paper to step it up just a little bit. And then where's yesterday's card? Yesterday's card, we just did it with smoky slate. So you can see the difference that silver foil paper really kind of steps it up a little bit. All right, let's bring in all 3 cards here today. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. Oh, we'll do them all side by side this way. So we have our petal pink, our smoky slate, and then our silver foil paper cart, which I think is my absolute favorite this week. This silver foil just really takes the cart to the next level. So let me know which one is your favorite here today. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining me for my very last Makers Monday here in Tucson. I have to say, I cannot thank you guys enough for the last 7.5 years of just support and friendship and everything in between. You guys were there when my husband deployed to Afghanistan and just were there for me whenever I needed it, even if we have never met face to face. I look forward to coming live to you again sometime soon, probably the end of July, just because our stuff gets packed and then we won't be there until the beginning of July, and then I have to unpack it all. So I cannot thank you enough for these past 7 years. You guys have best been amazing. I am so excited to see where crafting takes me on the East Coast. And don't forget, tomorrow is a free shipping day, and May Moving Madness ends tomorrow as well. I look forward to documenting my travels with Confessions of a Traveling Stamper like I did when I lived in Italy. I'm so excited to bring that travel series back as we make our move across country. I'm not going to get teary, but thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you next time.